check, check, check. Okay. You want to play something and let's see whether it. Check, check, check. Okay. Check, check, check. Now, is this the unidirectional one? I think this might be the unidirectional one. But one of them was last time. Okay. They're all this. Okay. All right. Do you want the foamy thing? Okay. Test, test.
Test 1, 2.
As I walk along this very narrow bridge, I will not be afraid, knowing you are with me. As I walk along this very narrow bridge, I will not fear, knowing you are near. V'ha'ikar, lo לפחד כלל, לא לפחד. והעיקר, לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד.
Shana Tova, and welcome back. Welcome if this is your first time here, welcome for the first time. We are going to have a very special Kol Nidre service tonight, in large part because we are able to be here together, and we have so many members of our community who have joined us in participating in these services, in organizing these services and leading the services. And we are so glad to have all of you who are participating in the services and all of you who are here as congregants, as members of our kahal tonight. We are glad to be here with you. I am Rabbi Jacob Best Adler, and this is Cantor Kate Fridkis Baring, and we will be your service leaders for the evening. I'd like to invite Abby Grayson to come up and light our candles for Yom Tov. Who's the light?
Page 688. It's in the middle of the page. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Yom HaKippurim.
Amen.
Blessing for the candle lighting. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No? What? Can you hear me now? Blessing for the candle lighting. We, the generation that stands between the fires, behind us, the flame and smoke that rose from Auschwitz and from Hiroshima and from the burning of the Amazon forest. Before us, the nightmare of a flood of fire, the flame and smoke that could consume all earth. It is our task to make from fire not fury, not an all-consuming blaze, but the light in which we see each other fully. All of us different, all of us bearing one spark. We light these fires to see more clearly that the earth and all who live as part of it are not for burning. We light these fires to see more clearly the rainbow in the many colored faces of all life. Blessed is the one within the many. Blessed are the many who make one.
I would like to invite up Jeanette and Len Edelstein as our ark openers. And I also invite up Cheryl Rosenberg, Lenny Pizzulli, and Esther Rose. We're on page 692.
Beshiva shel malach, Beshiva shel mata, Aledat hamakom, Ve'adat hakahal, Anu matirin hitpalel im havaryanim. Beshiva shel malach, Beshiva shel mata, Aledat hamakom, Ve'adat hakahal, Anu matirin lehitpalel im havaryanim. Beshiva shel malach, Beshiva shel mata, Aledat hamakom, Ve'adat hakahal, Anu matirin lehitpalel im havaryanim.
Please rise.
Oh, Nidre, Besare, Bacharame, Bekoname, Vechinoye, Vekinusei, Ushavuot. Dina dana, udayish tabana, udacharim na. Vedi asal nafshatana, miyom Kippurim zeh, ad Yom Kippurim, הבא עלינו לטובה כולהון יחרדנה וכון כולהון יהון שרון שביתין בתהילין ובוטלין לשרירין ולקיימין נדרנה לנדרי ואסרנה לאסרי ושבועתנה ושבועתנה לשבועות. ונסלח לכל הדת בני ישראל ולגר הגר בתוכם כי לכל העם בשגגה סלח נא לעוונם הזה וכגודל חסדך וכאשר נסעת להם הזה ממצרים ליד הנה ושם נאמר ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדברך ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדברך ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדברך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Be seated. Page 708. I'll give you a second to sit before I ask you to stand up again. Got to have those strategic pauses in the service. Please rise for our call to worship.
Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed.
You may be seated.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Hooray! La la la. Olé, orbible rocher. Olé, orbible rocher. Rocher mineor. Roll into dawn, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dawn, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dawn, light, to light becomes day, turns to night, to dark, into light, becomes day, day turns to night.
Page 712. Yai da dai 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 dai. Yai da dai 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 dai. Yai dai yai da dai dai dai. Yai dai dai dai.
Ahavat olam, ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ata, ahavat olam, ahavat olam, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta, ki heim chayenu, v'yorech yameinu, u'evahem nege yomam v'layla, ve'ahavatcha lo tasur mimenu, le'olamim, le'olamim, le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch hu, Baruch Shemo.
Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Yai da dai dai, yai dai dai, yai da dai. Amen.
On page 714. This night and this night alone, we chant every line of this prayer, of this first paragraph of the prayer, I'll say, out loud.
Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
We continue privately through page 722. I understand that there's some noise in the background. Let's give it a second. Okay. Yeah. Go for it, Matt.
If you have a BMW X3 license plate D57NKZ or 2, I can't tell, your lights are flashing and you are making a lot of noise in the parking lot. Thank you.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Let the light of late afternoon shine through the chinks in the barn, moving up the bales as the sun moves down. Let the cricket take up chafing as a woman takes up her needles and her yarn. Let evening come. Let dew collect on the hoe abandoned in long grass. Let the stars appear and the moon disclose her silver horn. Let the fox go back to its sandy den. Let the wind die down. Let the shed go black inside. Let evening come. To the bottle in the ditch, to the scoop in the oats, to the air in the lung, let evening come. Let it come as it will, and don't be afraid. God does not leave us comfortless, so let evening come.
I invite Iris Sperling to offer words of welcome from the Board of Trustees.
Welcome congregants, friends, visitors, extended families to the Kol Nidre service at Kehillat Shalom, literally the congregation of peace and welcoming. I am Iris Sperling of our board, and I'm here to say shalom. A few years ago, my wife Beverly and I attended a Rosh Hashanah service with my brother David, which was led by his wife, Rabbi Jennifer Jake, at her Westchester Reform congregation. She began her sermon at the onset of these holiest of days with a big smile on her face and words to this effect. Every year, I stand up here and tell you to be good. So be good already. After that, she delivered a serious, moving, effective, insightful reflection on the meaning of the high holidays. I'm fogging up a little bit, so give me a second. The Moody Blues had an album titled The Question of Balance. I always liked that title. Life is a balance of happiness and sadness, confidence and humility, anger and forgiveness, Judaism speaks of the human condition being a struggle between our Yetzer Hara, the little voice imploring us to lie a little, cheat a little, think only of ourselves, and the Yetzer HaTov, the little voice whispering in our ear to do the right thing. It's a balancing act. Rabbi Jennifer Jake balanced the solemnity of the Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur season with a bit of humor, and it made a significant impression on me. About 5 years ago, my wife Beverly and I attended high holiday services as non-members here. We were struck by the warmth and welcoming nature of the congregation and the balance in the service of serious reflection, earnest and solemn prayer, and beautiful melodic singing, and Rabbi Susan and Cantor Kate still somehow infusing a smile into the service. And in Judaism, there's a concept of minhag kedin. If you practice a custom repeatedly, it becomes law. And Rabbi Jake and Cantor Kate continue that custom, which is now law at CKS, that the high holiday service will uplift you, make you reflect, and at appropriate moments, they and you will smile a little too. A question of balance. It's been a rough year and a half for all, but you can balance these difficult times by joining us here, members and friends, at services, simchas, joyous occasions, educational programs for old and young, and anytime you need a warm, welcoming hello from Kehilat Shalom, the congregation of peace and welcoming. Shana Tova.
Our service continues on page 734.
כי ביום הזה יכפר עליכם לטהר אתכם מכל חטאותיכם לפני אדוני תטהרו. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה ויעמוד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל בגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח יתברך ותקום ונעשה ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי תקודשה בריחו לעילה לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן מעלמה ואמרו אמן.
Our private Amidah prayers begin on page 740 and continue through page 774. You have many choices for how to pray the Amidah tonight. You can use the traditional liturgy. You can let your eyes linger on the commentary below the line. You can pray the prayer that is in your own heart. And when your prayer is completed, you can have a seat. Shana Tova. So I often mention during this time of year that Rabbi Alan Liu's incredible book about the High Holy Days, which pretty much every rabbi I know rereads in preparation for this time of year, is titled, "This is Real and You Are Completely Unprepared." And so I want to say, I've been working on a sermon for some time now, and you're going to hear it tomorrow. Now, the sermon topic that I had in mind for tomorrow, I feel a little bit guilty that I'm not going to be talking about. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit, but you should know I've got some notes in front of me, and that's about it. But that also is part of the sermon. So during the High Holy Days, we chant Unetana Tokef, which is one of those pieces of the High Holy Days that sticks with us, and not always in a good way. It can stick in us, and give us something to chew on. Leonard Cohen famously turned Unetana Tokef into a song called Who by Fire. And Unetana Tokef speaks to moments of great uncertainty, and points out that that is all of life. All of life is great uncertainty. And most of the time we are convincing ourselves, we're tricking ourselves into believing that it's not. We want to maintain the illusion that we have control over our lives, and the reality is that there is so much that is unknown, and we are tasked with coming to terms with that on the High Holy Days. It feels particularly relevant after this past year, or these past 2 years, to be talking about who by fire, who by water, any number of instances of this past year that we could look to and say, I wish we had some kind of control over all these things. So I'm going with this. I'm going to quote now from a song by The Lonely Island. If you're not familiar with The Lonely Island, they are a comedic rap group from SNL. So they released this song called Yolo. And if you're unfamiliar, YOLO was a phrase that was pretty popular about a decade ago, and it stands for "You Only Live Once." And this became just an incredibly popular in the vernacular among young people for a short time. And you only live once, right? You can see it as like live your best life. But the way that it was spreading, the way that it was being used among young people is you can do something crazy, right? Do something dangerous because it's life, right? You only get one shot at it. So do whatever you are feeling called to do. And so The Lonely Island wrote a song called Yolo, and they said, in the opening, it says, you only live once, the battle cry of a generation. But the lyrics of the song are all about this idea that life is precious and you only have one life, and therefore you have to be very, very careful. And they go to extremes because, again, they're a comedy group. They say, so for instance, wear titanium suits in case pianos fall on you, and never go in saunas because they're crawling with piranhas. And never take the stairs because they're often unsafe. You only live once, don't let it go to waste. So, Yolo. This is the theme of Yom Kippur. The theme of Yom Kippur is you don't know what's ahead of you. And you can't control that. And that is the reality of life. But what we do have control over is how we live that life while we have it, how we treat that life while we are here. And there's a famous teaching in Pirkei Avot that says you should repent the day before you die. And of course, you don't know the day that is the day before you die, and therefore you should be living your life in a way that you can feel proud of, that you can feel is worthy of having this gift of living in this world and having a chance to explore and learn and love. And so you have to use that life, that one precious life, as Mary Oliver says. What is it that you plan to do with your one precious life? You have to use that life in a way that is not wasted, in a way that each day that you have is a gift. We say in the morning service, in the morning prayer service, Moda ani lefanecha, Adonai tzuri v'goali, shehechazarta bi nishmati. I'm grateful to you, God, that you have returned my soul to me. I learned from Debbie Lampf and her brother when their father passed away a couple of years ago, that he would say a prayer at night and in the morning, and it was not the traditional prayer, but it kept that message. At night, he would say, "Dear God, thank you for the day. Please give me the night." And when he woke up in the morning, he would say, "God, thank you for the night. Please give me the day." And so we take each day. We have the ability, we have the power within this world where there's so much that we don't know about, that there's so much that we can never know about, things that can change our lives in an instant. We learned that quite well this year, our community. But what we can do is to treat each day as a gift and to make each day matter, to treat each day as if it is the day before you die. This is the beginning of what's going to be a long day, right? This is a 25-hour long day, the day in which we enact ritually our own deaths. You may not have known that about Yom Kippur, but we are preparing ourselves for the reality that we may die. We will die. Sorry if that's a surprise to anyone, but we will all die. And so we spend each Yom Kippur reflecting on what it is that we are doing with our lives. And we spend the day as if we are no longer among the living, right? We don't eat. We don't do any of the kind of celebrations or the aspects of life that that we would call living, right? We are focused on the internal. We're focused on our souls. We're focused on honestly taking a look at ourselves and saying, am I living the life that I want to lead? And if I'm not, what is my next step? Because there's always a chance to make that change, to choose a different path, to reflect on who you have been and say, that's not who I have to be. So I invite you today to spend this day removed from all of the things that we see as necessities, right? Set your phone down. Try not to look at it for 25 hours. It's a lot, I know. But take that time to actually separate yourself from the day-to-day life. This is the gift that we have through our ritual, and also through living in a place where we are able to take this day for our spiritual health. So thank you to the state of New Jersey educational system, and thank you for vacation days, to be able to use this day to make of this day all that we need from it. And we'll keep checking in. Shana Tova. We're on page 802.
Hine chachomer beyad hayotzer v'yertzoto machiv v'yertzoto mikatzer kein anachnu biyadecha chesed notzer
Labrit habet, labrit habet, ve'altefen la'yetzer. Labrit habet, labrit habet, ve'altefen la'yetzer.
Hinecha even beyad hamisatit Birtzoto ches, birtzoto mechatet, kein anachnu beyadecha, mechayehu motet.
Labrit habet, labrit habet, ve'altefen la'yetzer. Labrit habet, labrit habet, V'ya'atef en la'yetzer.
Hinei chagarzen beyad herash birtzoto dibek laur birtzoto perash ken anachnu beyadecha tomecha nivarash
Labrit habet, labrit habet, v'ya'atef en la'yetzer. Labrit habet, labrit habet, v'ya'atef en la'yetzer.
Will You by Carrie Fountain. When, at the end, the children wanted to add glitter to their Valentines, I said, no. I said, nope, no glitter. And then when they started to fuss, I found myself saying something my brother's football coach used to bark from the sidelines when one of his players showed signs of being human. Oh, come on now, suck it up. That's what I said to my children. Suck what up? My daughter asked. And because she is so young, I told her I didn't know and never mind, and she took that for an answer. My children are so young. When I turn off the radio as the news turns to counting the dead or naming the act, they aren't even suspicious. My children are so young they cannot imagine a world like the one they live in. Their God is still a real God, a whole God, a God made holy of actions. And I think they think I work for that God. And I know they will someday soon see everything, and they will know about everything, and they will no longer take never mind for an answer. The Valentines would have been better with glitter, and my son hurt himself on an envelope. And then, much later, when we were eating dinner, my daughter realized she'd forgotten one of the 3 Henrys in her class. How can there be 3 Henrys in one class? I said. And she said, because there are. And so before bed, we took everything out again, paper and pens and stamps and scissors. And she sat at the table with her freshly washed hair parted smartly down the middle and wrote, "Will you be mine, Henry T?" And she did it so carefully, I could hardly stand to watch.
Please rise. We're on page 812.
Adonai, Adonai, Erachim v'chanun, Erech apayim, v'rav chesed v'emet, notzer chesed la'alafim, notzer avon v'pesha, v'chata v'nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, Erachim v'chanun, Erech apayim, v'rav chesed v'emet, notzer chesed la'alafim, notzer avon v'pesha, v'chata v'nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, Erachim v'chanun, Erech apayim, v'rav chesed v'emet,
נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע, וחצה ונקה. סלח לנו אבינו כי חטאנו, מחל לנו מלכנו כי פשענו, כי אתה אדוני טוב וסלח, טוב וסלח, ורב חסד לכל קוראיך, ורב חסד לכל קוראיך.
You may be seated. We turn to page 814. Page 816.
Eloheinu, Elohei Avotinu Mimotzeinu, Selach lanu, Mechalanu, Kapelanu, Ki anu Amecha, Ve'ata Eloheinu, Anu Ivanecha, Ve'ata Avinu, Anu Avadecha, Ve'ata Adonenu, Anu Gehalecha, Ve'ata Chelkeinu, Anu Mechalatecha, Ve'ata Goraleinu, Anu Itzonecha, Ve'ata Roeinu, Anu Charmecha, Ve'ata Notreinu, Anu Ve'ulatecha, Ve'ata Yotzreinu, Anu Rayatecha, Ve'ata Dodeinu,
Anu segulatecha, ve'ata keroveinu. Anu amecha, ve'ata malkeinu. Anu ma'amirecha, ve'ata ma'amireinu. Yairai, yararairai, yairai, yarararairai, yairai, 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 yarararairai, yairai, 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 yarararairai, yairai, yairai, yairai. Debbie Lamp. Oh.
The gift of choice. I came into the world without being asked, and when the time for dying comes, I shall not be consulted. But between the boundaries of birth and death lies the dominion of choice. To be a doer or a dreamer, to be a lifter or a leaner, to speak out or remain silent, to extend a hand in friendship or to look the other way, to feel the sufferings of others, or to be callous and insensitive. These are the choices. It is in the choosing that my measure as a person is determined.
Please rise. We turn to page 820 for our vidui, our communal confession.
Yai dai da dai dai dai. Yai da da dai dai dai. Yai da da dai dai dai. Asham nun, Bagad nun, Gazal nun, Dibar nu dofi. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai da da dai dai dai. Yai da da dai dai dai. Ha'avinu, v'hirshanu, zadnu, chamasnu, tafalnu shaker. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai da da dai dai dai. Yai da da dai dai dai. Ya'atznu ra, kizavnu, latznu, maradnu, niatznu, sararnu. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Avinu, pashanu, sararnu, kishinu oref. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Rashanu, shichatnu, ti'avnu, ta'inu, titanu.
Please remain standing and turn to page 828. Cantor Kate and we, all of us who are not Cantor Kate, will be alternating paragraphs in the Hebrew and in English. So just to make that as explicit as possible, Cantor Kate will sing the first paragraph on page 828. Then we will respond speaking the second paragraph on 827.
Alechei, shekatan lefanecha beimutz halev. V'alechei, shekatan lefanecha bibli dat. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בגלוי ובסתר, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בדעת ובמרמה.
For the wrong that we have done before you through the prompting of the heart, and for the wrong that we have done before you through the influence of others, for the wrong that we have done before you, whether by intention or mistake, and for the wrong that we have done before you by the hand of violence, for the wrong that we have done before you through our foolishness of speech, and for the wrong that we have done before you through an evil inclination.
Selach lanu mechalanu kapelanu vial kulam Eloah selichot selach lanu mechalanu selach lanu mechalanu kapelanu על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בכפת שוחד, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בלהט צאן, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך במאכל ומשתה, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בנשק ומרבית, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בסיקור עין, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בעיניים רעמות. ועל כולם אלוה סליחות, סלח לנו מחלנו, כפר לנו. ועל כולם אלוה סליחות, סלח לנו מחלנו, סלח לנו מחלנו, כפר לנו.
Page 31, excuse me. For the wrong that we have done before you by our quickness to oppose, and for the wrong that we have done before you by deception of a friend, for the wrong that we have done before you by unwillingness to change, and for the wrong that we have done before you by our running to embrace an evil act, for the wrong that we have done before you by our groundless hatred, and for the wrong that we have done before you in the giving of a false pledge.
ועל כולם אלוה סליחות, סלח לנו מחלנו, כפר לנו. ועל כולם אלוה סליחות, סלח לנו מחלנו, סלח לנו מחלנו, כפר לנו.
We remain standing and turn to page 451 for Avinu Malkeinu.
אבינו מלכנו חטאנו לפניך, אבינו מלכנו אין לנו מלך אלא אתה, אבינו מלכנו עשה עמנו למען שמך, אבינו מלכנו חדש עלינו שנה טובה, אבינו מלכנו הפר עצת אויבינו, אבינו מלכנו סלח ומחל לכל עוונותינו. אבינו מלכנו, החזירנו בתשובה שלמה לפניך. אבינו מלכנו, שלח רפואה שלמה לחולים. אבינו מלכנו, כותבנו בספר חיים טובים. אבינו מלכנו, כותבנו בספר גאולה וישועה. אבינו מלכנו, כותבנו בספר פרנסה וכלכלה. אבינו מלכנו, כותבנו בספר זכויות. אבינו מלכנו, כותבנו בספר סליחה ומחילה. אבינו מלכנו, הצמח לנו ישועה בקרוב. אבינו מלכנו, זכור כי עפר אנחנו. אבינו מלכנו, חמול עלינו ועול עלינו וטפנו. אבינו מלכנו, עשה למען הרוגים על שם קודשך. אבינו מלכנו, עשה למען שמך הגדול, הגיבור והנורא שנקרא עלינו. אבינו מלכנו, חוננו ובעננו. אבינו מלכנו, חוננו ובעננו, כי אין בנו מעשים. עשה עמנו צדקה וחסד. עשה עמנו צדקה וחסד והושיענו. אבינו מלכנו, חוננו ובעננו. אבינו מלכנו, חוננו ובעננו, כי אין בנו מעשים. עשה עמנו צדקה וחסד. עשה עמנו צדקה וחסד והושיענו. יאי די 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 יאי די יאי די 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 יאי די יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי 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 די
You may be seated. As Kolahava sings our prayer for healing, Misha Berach, I'll ask you to reflect on all those who are in need of healing, all those who are in pain, who are struggling, who are suffering, and to join your prayer to the prayer of our choir as we pray that all those who need healing will find refuah shlema, complete healing.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, the renewal of spirit. And let us say, Amen. Amen.
Please rise and turn to page 1204. We will be singing words selection from our Aleinu prayer. And these words have been set to music by Rabbi Yosef Goldman.
Hashevota elevavecha, ki Adonai hu haElohim. Hashevota elevavecha, ki Adonai hu haElohim. Ein od milvado, ein od efes zulato, ein od milvado, ein od efes zulato, v'hashevota elevavecha, ki Adonai hu haElohim, v'hashevota elevavecha, ki Adonai hu haElohim. Ein od milvado, ein od
אפס זולתו אינו אינו מלבדו אינו אפס זולתו והשב אותה אל לבביך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים.
Please be seated.
In many houses, all at once, I see my mother and father, and they are young as they walk in. Why should my tears come to see them laughing? That they cannot see me is of no matter. I was once their dream. Now they are mine.
We turn to page 1216, and before we rise for Kaddish Yatom, I'll ask that if you are saying Kaddish for anyone in particular and you would like to share their name, I'll come down and I'm going to try to make eye contact with everybody. So please feel free to share their name. Yes, thank you, Iris. Our congregation in particular is remembering those members of our community who we have lost in this past year. We remember Marilyn Nussbaum, Susan Wasco, and Peggy Fass. It's 2 presidents of CKS and 1 founder. If you are saying Kaddish tonight, please rise. And if you are remaining seated, please join me in offering the communal responses. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah. Amen.
V'yalma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayecho nu yomecho nu chaye zechol Beit Yisrael. V'agalav v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ulamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach yitbar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kudsham v'richu. Le'ela le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'nimru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel. V'imru. Amen. Amen.
Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. You may be seated. Scott Strauss will share some announcements on behalf of the congregation.
Shana Tova. Thank you, Rabbi Jake and Kate, for leading services tonight. Kol Nidre service tonight, and thank you to Kol Ahava, our greeters, our ushers, and all of our volunteers. Our Yom Kippur schedule opens tomorrow morning with our Tat service at 9:30 a.m. It'll be held outside in the tent. Shacharit begins at 10, followed by the children's service, once again in the tent at 11 o'clock. Torah service is at 12. Yizkor will begin at 2:30 p.m. The final services of Yom Kippur will be held in the tent tomorrow, weather permitting. Avodah at 5, Jonah at 6, and Ne'ilah at 7. The final shofar blast will be at approximately 7:40 p.m., followed by our grab and go breakfast. Bring a dish that can serve 6 and grab your favorite treats. September 19th will be a huge day at CKS. Our welcome back party will be a grand event to begin immediately after the first day back at religious school. We'll have pizza truck, ice cream, sandwiches, and live music by Hannah Rothman. We know some of you love to bake. Hi, sweetie. So please bring desserts. We'll need volunteers to help put up the sukkah that morning. So parents, after you drop off your kids, don't run away. Please help put up the sukkah. Sign up for our annual Sukkot events. Suds and Sushi in the Sukkah will be held September 23rd at 6 p.m. $15 per adult. Join us for all you can eat until it's on sushi, along with local brews donated by Amy and Matt Rosenthal. Children under 13 can get sushi for $10. Sign up on the website. Pizza in the Hut will be held on September 24th at 6 p.m. Let us know how many slices you'd like by signing up on the website. $2 each slice. Our movie night and sleep out will begin Saturday, September 25th at 7 p.m. The key movie to be determined yet. The Kehilat car wash will be held on Sunday, September 26th during religious school. Get your vehicle washed at Kehilat's only fundraiser for $10 a car, $15 for an SUV or van. Our Simcha Torah celebration will be held on Saturday, October 2nd at 5 p.m. On October 3rd, the CKS Racial Justice Working Group is planning an African American History Walk tour of Philadelphia. The tour starts in front of the Independence Visitor Center, 6th and Market Street, and takes approximately 90 minutes to complete. Mahjong is held weekly at 7:30 p.m. on Mondays. Book Club meets once a month at 7:30 p.m. Both are still virtual for now. Links to all events mentioned tonight can be found in the bulletin. Also, please look in the back of your supplement. There is information about Shabbat services and about upcoming adult education offerings. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
So I'm told I'm the closer. It's a lot of pressure. I also can't see. It's on. Here, when the world is about to crush me with all its weight, I find safety here. When people have been too cruel because of their ignorance, I find compassion here. When my government tries to silence me, I find my voice here. When I feel a sense of helplessness during these uncertain times, I find peace here. When I am lost and tossed about in the day-to-day maze of activity, I find direction here. When loneliness slowly creeps into my life like the evening mist, I find community here. When I feel isolated at times, I find comfort here. When friends seem nowhere to be found in the daily grind, I find good friends here. When I sometimes lose sight of what I can do for the community, I find purpose here. When I feel that my family is scattered hundreds of miles away, I find the nearness of family here. When the cacophony outside is too much and I need to be soothed, I find beautiful music here. When I run around and take the simple things for granted, I find meaning here. When I am gone and have left only my name, I know that I will be remembered here.
As you leave the sanctuary or the tent or the prayer space that you have set up wherever you are at this moment, we ask that you refrain from engaging in conversation or catching up, schmoozing, whatever it may be, until you have made your way out to the front. We will see you in the morning.
גשר מאוהד כל העולם הוא גשר צר כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד כל העולם הוא גשר והעיקר לא לפחד כלל לא לפחד והעיקר לא לפחד כלל לא לפחד כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד כל העולם הוא גשר צר כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד כל העולם הוא גשר והעיקר לא לפחד כלל לא לפחד והעיקר לא לפחד כלל לא לפחד. As I walk along this very narrow bridge, I will not be afraid, knowing you are with me. As I walk along this very narrow bridge, I will not fear, knowing you are near. לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד, והעיקר, לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד, לא לפחד.